Israel strikes Syria's military HQ, strategic message, or dangerous escalation in the Middle East. Damascus. Early Wednesday morning, the skies over the Syrian capital were ripped apart by a series of powerful explosions. One of Syria's key military installations, the General Staff Headquarters in Umayyad Square, was struck by Israeli air raids. Moments later, another strike hit near the Syrian presidential palace. According to Syria's state-run news agency, Sana. At least one person was killed and 18 injured in the strikes, believed to have been carried out by the Israel Defense Forces, IDF. From a strategic standpoint, this was far more than a simple retaliatory move. It was a strong political message to both the Assad successor regime and the extremist elements lurking near Israel's borders. Suwaida, the Druze heartland, and a smoldering civil conflict. The deeper roots of the airstrikes lie in the escalating violence in the southern Syrian province of Suwaida, home to the Druze minority, a community with historical and cultural ties to Israel. For over a decade, Suwaida had managed to remain semi-autonomous, refusing the presence of Syrian regime forces. However, fierce clashes erupted recently between Druze militias and Bedouin tribes backed by the Syrian government. According to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, SOHR, these clashes have killed over 300 people in just 3 days. The government has been accused of directly contributing to the bloodshed by executing at least 21 Druze civilians, further inflaming tensions. A ceasefire reached briefly collapsed within hours. Israel's intervention, a mission to protect Druze or a power move? Officially, Israel claims its military action was to protect the Druze community, many of whom live in the Golan Heights region under Israeli control. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made a direct appeal to Israel's Druze citizens, urging them not to cross into Syria, citing the risk to their lives and the military operation. My brothers, the Druze citizens of Israel, I urge you, do not cross the border. Let the IDF act. Don't endanger yourselves, Netanyahu stated. Yet behind this humanitarian appeal lies a much broader strategic reality. Israel is firmly opposed to the presence of radical Islamist groups or Iran-aligned militias near its northern border, especially now as the new Syrian government under al-Shara is still consolidating power and remains fragile.
More than a military strike, a calculated political signal. This operation targeted not only a military command center, but also delivered a symbolically charged blow, striking at the heart of Syrian governance in Damascus, near the presidential palace. It sends a clear message that Israel is willing to expand its reach well beyond the Golan if necessary. Analysts believe the move is meant to deter the al-Shara government from further involvement in southern Syria, particularly Suwaida, where any presence of Syrian armed forces could be interpreted as a threat to Israeli security and regional stability. Syria responds strongly. The U.S. reacts cautiously. Damascus condemned the attack, labeling it a blatant act of aggression. Meanwhile, international observers worry that without diplomatic intervention, the situation may spiral into a direct confrontation between Syria and Israel, at a time when the Middle East is already on edge due to ongoing crises in Gaza, Lebanon, and Iran. The United States, notably, has taken a watch-and-wait stance. A brief statement from the U.S. State Department said they were closely monitoring the situation. Some reports suggest that behind-the-scenes negotiations between Washington, Tel Aviv, and Damascus may be underway, hinting at a broader reshaping of Syria's political future. What lies ahead? The future of Suwaida and the Druze community is hanging in the balance. A scenario in which Suwaida gains autonomy or separation is unacceptable to Damascus, but increasingly likely if violence continues. Israel, with strong security interests in the region and cultural ties to the Druze, may not back down easily. The complexity of the crisis, blending sectarian, geopolitical, and security dimensions, means that the next steps are uncertain. However, one thing is clear. Damascus is back on the regional conflict map, and Israel is not hesitating to use military force to shape the outcome.
Conclusion: when bombs speak louder than diplomacy, This strike on Syria's military HQ is not just a show of force. It is a new form of diplomacy by firepower. In a region where trust has all but eroded, missiles have become the language of political discourse. And once again, the Syrian people, especially the Druze, are caught in the crossfire of cold, calculated strategy. "There is no safe zone when the sky itself is a battlefield," said one Suwaida resident in tears.